The KTM 690 SMCR is the best bike for the track.
What did he say?
And here's a lot of reasons why it's the best bike. Now, yes, as you know, I am a professional track rider. I'm pretty much Rossi out there.
Right, yeah, of course.
And in all seriousness, I've been to the track 3 times in total with the bike. Once last year, and I just finished up the weekend this year. And in all honesty, this bike has performed so well past even my abilities that it's kind of scary. It's one of those things where it's set up so beautifully for not necessarily the street, I mean kinda, but when you really get these things on the track or a real twisty road where you can actually ride them, they are incredible. Now, my background knowledge in bikes on the track is very, very small, but at the same time, I've been able to advance so quickly with this bike for a lot of different things. And probably the biggest thing that I've noticed with the 690 SMCR making it the world's best track bike is some of the pieces of kit that you get when you get this from the factory. Now, for example, in the front, you've got a Brembo M50 caliper on a 320 millimeter rotor. Now, that is a ton of stopping power. When you look at some of the bigger bikes, obviously there's 2, but this doesn't need 2. Just that one alone is enough. When you're coming in off of a straight to a corner, you can brake so late on this bike. I could probably brake after another 20 feet of carrying speed. It's incredible how well these brakes can stop this motorcycle. The plan is to get a wave rod around here, get a little bit more of an aggressive pad to make it even sharper on the track. But in all honesty, buying a bike with Brembos, especially these on the front and even Brembos on the rear, incredible. Which brings me to the suspension. From the factory, you get WP suspension front and rear, fully adjustable. And if you're going to the track or if you're just generally riding on the street, I highly suggest you get this set up. Now, you can either do it on your own like I did by watching YouTube videos and, well, just trial and error and going out and riding around the block a few times. But if you can professionally get it done, it is awesome. You can set sag, you can dial in whatever you'd like as far as the rebound, compression, so many different things. On this factory bike, the WP suspension is awesome. Now, is it Öhlins? Well, I don't know the difference between WP and Öhlins. I've never had a bike with Öhlins suspension. Maybe it's better, but there is that caveat of, do you have a manual suspension system where you got to dial everything in, or do you have the electronic suspension system? Honestly, when you look at it, pros and cons, it just comes down to convenience. Electric, you can just hit a button, go from touring to track to sport to race to whatever you want. Here, you kind of set it up once and you're done, which, for me, I'm okay with it. Less stuff to break. And you also get a ton of really, really cool technology features, like, for example, the quick shifter that I didn't even know existed until you guys actually commented and said, hey, why don't you use a quick shifter? So this 2021 has a quick shifter. Not exactly sure on what years do. I'm pretty sure everything 2019 and up does, but fact check me, put it in the comments below. But you have a quick shifter up and down. Awesome. You've got ABS, you've got traction control, you've got a lot of those features that honestly help you on the track. Now, you can be a superstar and turn all those off and go out and ride it, and quite frankly, I did a few times this year and didn't really notice a difference. I guess I'm just not good enough to feel the difference. But either way, for a bike to be this simple yet have this level of technology for the price, I think it makes it an incredible track machine. Now let's get to some of the fun bits too. All right, for the frame, the suspension, the whole geometry of this motorcycle is set up so well that you really underappreciate it when you're just riding on the street. If you take this to the track and you start really learning a lean in, you're hitting apexes and you're using all the power of the bike, then you start to feel what those engineers wasted hundreds of thousands of billions of hours on designing this setup. Now, it's incredible once you start harnessing that, and it takes some time to get used to it, to really understand it, and to feel those differences and changes, but it helps you every day when you're riding on the street, when you're learning where this bike can be flicked to, where you can lean this to, and what other intricacies you can find just within this frame and entire setup. It's incredible. It's amazing, and I'm still not even to the full capabilities. It's incredible to me at how well it's set up. Now, let's sort of look at the power range too, because that's a big question. because I know everybody's gonna say, oh, it's basically a single cylinder, it's a dirt bike, it's not actually that fast. Well, you'd be wrong, because this thing, it gets up and it moves. I can keep up with 600s on the track. Now, whoa, back it up. I'm riding in yellow classes and orange classes, so the bottom two classes. I am nowhere close to green or blue or the professional riders, but at the same time, I am keeping up with people on R6s, on 600 bikes, on a lot of the other sport bikes that you'd find most common when people purchase something for their first bike, their second bike, they're just been riding a couple years bike and want a little bit more power. Now that being said, in the straights, it's a gamble. There's been years where I'm keeping up and passing R6s and holding on to R7s and watching the leader bikes boys just go whee past me. But in the corners, braking later, I can keep up in a lot of the tight sections. And that's not really saying much, but when you get out there and you do it, you start realizing how much power is within the 693cc single cylinder KTM LC4 motor. Now, while the power is great, there's plenty of other features that I've added to this bike to make it, I guess, a little bit easier and more fun on the track. And most of those come at less of an addition, but more of a removal. So when I go to a track day, I remove the mirrors, I remove the phone mount, I remove the license plate and license plate brackets. I remove so much from this motorcycle to reduce weight that it honestly makes it an awesome bare bones sort of track machine. I see a lot of people taping up headlights and turn signals and all the other crap that's hanging off of their bikes. And with this 690, you can set it up where you can take a majority of things off. Now, I want to work and get to the point where I can get rid of this entire front headlight assembly and just put a plastic plate on there, which I think would, one, look cool, but then number two, just help me without taping more stuff that I don't need to tape. But there's so many customizational options, customizable options available to set these things up specifically for track use. And quite frankly, they're easy to work on, nuts and bolts, fairly simple. All you need is a Torx pick set and that's about it. And you can tear this thing down. So I think that's really, really cool. You don't have to get too specific on your tools or, you know, learn Italian to try to work on your own bike. So with all that being said, those are a few of the reasons why I love this KTM 690 SMCR for the track. I mean, it's upright, it's got great geometry, you've got so many good parts from the factory like Brembo brakes, WP suspension, a race-proven LC4 motor, a lot of actual power that you can use, all of it on the track. It has really grown on me, and track riding has really taken a place in my heart and is something that I want to do more of. It's so hard when I go out and I practice wheelies, I want to buy a stunt bike. When I go to the track, I want to buy a track bike. And there's really no good answer to fill all those without filling the garage with just motorcycles that I probably won't ride. And it brings to the fact that the 690 can really do everything, and it does it really pretty well. I mean, in the last 2 years, I've advanced so much of my riding because of this bike by taking it to the track and learning how to lean, having confidence in the setup, being able to use every single gear. I mean, at the track, I'm 6th gear pin going down the straight, maybe hitting 115. The bike tops out at about 124. I encourage any of you with leader bikes to do that at a track. Now, don't mention Road America or the bigger tracks, but the smaller ones. But it really has dawned on me that this motorcycle can kind of do everything and should honestly be a part of your lineup for a track-specific bike. I mean, every one of these things that I listed off is absolutely awesome. The only problem that I see is as I advance, as you advance, as anybody else who's a professional riding on the track, they'll start to notice some of the smaller things that a lot of the other bikes, track-specific bikes, bigger bikes, more expensive bikes do better. I mean, take for example the Aprilia Tuono V4 factory. I mean, that's a mouthful right there. But that is kind of what I'm looking at buying next because it's got more power. It's Olin suspension, electronic adjustability. I know I just complained about that. Don't kill me. But it's set up for a road machine, but honestly a track absolute weapon. And if I can harness that power on the track, harnessing it on the street should be a cakewalk. But you need more room and you need all these other things, and I digress. But I hope you enjoyed today's video, and I hope you learned a little bit more about why I love taking this KTM 690 SMCR to the track. And I want to hear about your track bikes. Do you think I'm at the point, or you're at the point, of getting a bike specifically for the track? Do you think that's even of consideration? Should I keep riding a street bike on the track? Should I keep putting nice parts?
And I will strike down upon thee with great vengeance and furious anger.
Carbon fiber and so much money into this specific bike, or should I go out and buy a Yamaha R6 or some sort of other bike that's plastic fairings, no lights on it whatsoever, and just make it specifically a track bike? I think there's an argument there, but I want to hear from you. I want to know what you guys did. I want to know what really kind of drove you to either purchasing a track bike or keeping your street bike on the track. So without continuing to circle around, we'll conclude this. On a rainy day that I wish I could be riding, remember, keep riding. That was long-winded to just say buy it.